Mr. Bobby Earl Brown,
Yes, ma'am.
raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. So, sir, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Bobby Earl Brown, case 2020CR03040. You were before this court for driving under the influence on the 17th day of April, 2023. You were sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 3 months and 28 days remaining, and your sentence was not tolled. So it says that you failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You tested positive for alcohol on November 20th of 2023. You're represented by attorney Justin Justin White, who's with you. Mr. White, what does your client say to the offenses alleged by probation?
Your Honor, he just wishes to admit and accept recommendation.
Okay. All right. What's probation's recommendation?
Your Honor, the recommendation is for credit on time served, return back to probation. He will be drug screened every report going forward and attend one AA meeting per week.
All right. Mr. Brown, what's going on in your life? Do you have a job? I mean, what would make you risk going back to jail, sir?
Judge, I had 2 deaths in the family.
That would do it. Grief does a lot. People don't understand how much we suffer, and how much we think we're handling it, but we're not handling it. I am so sorry to hear that, sir.
My granddaughter had a miscarriage, and my nephew, my great nephew, died, and I just broke.
I understand, especially with those people being so young. That can really rock a family. Well, my condolences to you, sir.
Thank you.
So I'm going to follow the recommendation, which is that you'll receive credit for time served, that you'll return to probation and complete all of your conditions. You'll test at each report, and you will attend one AA or NA meeting per week, okay? And that might help you get out some of your feelings surrounding the grief. Sometimes it helps to, in fact, most of the time, it helps to talk and not just have it running on a loop in your head. But sometimes it helps to kind of talk it out and let other people kind of share their experiences with some similar things with you.
So are we saying that I'm going to 3 AA meetings now?
Were you already going to AA meetings?
Yes, ma'am. I go to 2 a week.
Okay, well then you'll continue the 2 AA meetings a week.
Okay.
Hey, Your Honor,
Yes.
may I add for Mr. Brown to come see me on next Wednesday, December 27th?
Now, Mr. Brown, listen to me. Christmas is coming. Not only do you have grief, we have the holidays, and people like to celebrate with alcohol during the holidays, but that is not what you need to do. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Folk gonna come around with their pint. They gonna have, come on outside, have a little drink with me. Man, you've been going through some stuff. Hey, here, I brought you something. But remember, that's not gonna serve you well.
It's not like that, though, Judge. I did
Okay.
4.5 years of not drinking. I can't really drink anyway because of my heart.
Oh, yeah, well, we definitely don't want you drinking if that's gonna be a problem with your health.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm saying. I don't, like I say, that broke me down and I dropped, but I don't drink anymore.
Okay, well, that's good.
I just needed that at that time.
And I understand, trust me, I understand. So, yeah, I'm going to accept the recommendation. You'll receive credit for time served. You'll continue on your 2 AA or NA meetings per week. You'll test at each report, and return to probation, okay? All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office. You should be released if there's nothing else holding you. Morning, Ms. Candace.
Morning.
1 second. All right, so you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Victoria Lynn Canis for simple battery count 2 and simple battery family violence count 1 and simple battery count 2. Ms. Canis, what's going on? You've been gone for a while, but you're back.
She said, what's going on? I'm just here.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true. All right, you can put your hand down. What does your client plead to the offenses before the court, Ms. Hahn?
She's gonna plead guilty to count 3, simple battery.
All right. By entering a plea of guilty to count 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis and recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. On September the 9th of 2021, an officer was dispatched to Terra Boulevard and I-75 North in Jonesboro, Georgia, where the incident occurred in Clayton County. It's in reference to a domestic incident. The officer made contact with the victim, Mr. Tyrone Toney, Toney, who advised that his, at the time, girlfriend, the defendant, Ms. Canis, had gotten into a domestic dispute. They were in the vehicle, and Ms. Canis was intoxicated. She became extremely irate and then began to attack Mr. Toney by pulling his hair and punching him in the face. The time defendant said she did not remember the events of the night, and but then she advised she does remember biting twice, and then it sobered her up, so her getting bit, and it sobered her up. She was taken into custody. The state is recommending, Your Honor, 12 months, for count 2 to be no prize, count 3, 12 months to serve, 30 days credit for the time that she has served, the balance to be probated, for the defendant to take anger management, a $300 fine to be suspended, no drugs or alcohol, random screening and testing, 40 hours of community service, and no contact with the victim.
All right, Ms. Hahn.
Your Honor, so Ms. Canis has let me know after our first conversation that she believes that she was drugged on that day, and that's why that she doesn't remember. She's clear on who did it. It wasn't the alleged victim, however. She doesn't really remember what happened. She would like to be released from custody, so that's her her primary motivation for entering the plea today. But she doesn't have contact with the alleged victim, and she doesn't intend to have contact with him.
Okay, Ms. Canis, ma'am, you got to watch out for yourself. You got to put yourself in a situation where you're watching out for you, so that the likelihood of somebody slipping you something or giving you something is less, because it could be a drug that alters your behavior, or it could be a drug that takes you out of here. So you have got to be more cognizant of what you're doing. What's going on in your life, ma'am?
I was attending school. But
Where?
I was going to school at Colorado Technical University.
Okay.
Due to me being locked up for more than 15 days, I've stopped and gone back twice, but I have.
What you trying to do?
I'm going to go to school to get my bachelor's of science in business administration and start a business, and I mean, get on my feet, get custody of my son.
But we've been struggling a little while, haven't we?
I mean, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you try an organization like Narcotics Anonymous, and let's see if we can't get you Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and start going once a week. You seen me before, right? Now don't make me go to the record, because I'm clear I've seen you before. I remember that name.
Yeah, I mean, this case has been going on since 2021, but this is the only case I have here.
So, but since 2021, we're doing a little back and forth, right? Because you back in a jumpsuit. That if it had been 2021, you should have still been out on bond.
Yes, they came off my bond. I was locked up in Cobb County. And
Okay. What I'm gonna need you to do is, if you're really serious about getting your son back, we got to stop getting locked up no matter what county it's in. We got to make a plan for what we're going to do, and we got to be consistent. So you have a situation here that involves alcohol. You think somebody drugged you, which means that you were probably inebriated at the time and couldn't watch out for yourself. Why don't you start going to like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting a week?
okay.
Okay? Start doing that, and let's see if we can't get you back on track. Because you can't, you are trying to do it yourself, and it's not working. And if you want to get your son back, you have to have some structure or some organization in how you do it. And you got to start by thinking clearly. Okay? All right? Because your son deserves to be with his mom. He didn't ask to be wherever he is. He didn't ask for that.
Right.
All right. All right. So I'm going to accept your plea. I'll send you on count 3. Count 2 will be no pros. 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to take an anger management class. You're to pay the fine for $300 will be suspended for credit for time served. You're to have no alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation. You're subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs. You'll do 40 hours of community service, and you'll have no contact with Tyro Tony. We understand? All right. So Mr. Carmichael is going to come see you and get you enrolled in probation. If you have any specific needs or issues that relate to your probation, please make sure you ask him, okay? All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office. Did we find out if this is a repeat for Miss Little or something else happened?
No, Your Honor, she misunderstood. Mr. Austin shared with me what the sentence was, and it was not to close the case, so.
All right. So, Miss Little, this is your 3rd hearing. I'm not sure what's going on, why we can't get it together. So it's one second, I'm trying to pin you. There we go. So probation has indicated that well, you were here on the 6th day of October 2022 for driving under the influence. You were sentenced to 12 months probation. You have 6 days remaining on probation. Your sentence was not told. Says that you failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You tested positive for alcohol and marijuana. You failed to complete an alcohol and drug test. Failed to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation. You failed to provide proof of completing a risk reduction order, risk reduction course as ordered. You failed to complete 40 hours of community service. You failed to do anything, Miss Little. Well, what's going on?
Your Honor, If I may, I think the confusion, at least with this last bout of probation, was that Miss Little thought that she had, that this.
No, Miss Hahn, Miss Little and I have had conversations before. She stood before me. This is her third time. I can't be that dumb, or she can't be that dumb, because I know I speak well enough so that people understand me. I don't even put legalese in it. I break it down so people know exactly what I'm saying. Miss Little has decided she doesn't want to hear what I'm saying, or she doesn't want to understand, because the alcohol is too good to her and the drugs are too good to her. So, unfortunately, I only have 6 days for you to stay in jail. Is that going to be through Christmas?
And my thought is that she served 6 days already since she's been in.
That's if I decide she served 6 days.
I understand, Your Honor.
Because Miss Little is just playing with me at this point. Didn't her daddy come in with her the last time?
Yes, Your Honor.
See, so I remember. I know Miss Little is just playing with me at this point. She got all the good heart, but she can't get my stuff done.
The only thing that I didn't do was the classes, and when I went to see the probation officer, she told me that even if I couldn't finish them by December, I still had to take them because I didn't have a job to pay the $400 or the full $400 to do the courses. But when I was in here last time, my dad had brought the receipt from my evaluation, and he told him to take it to probation services. And I did the 40 hours the first time that I had came.
Where's the proof, ma'am? You didn't prove it. You don't have it. You didn't do it. It's not just do it. It's do it and show proof to probation.
Your Honor, she indicated to me that the person that she did the community service with had told her that she was sending it over. But she understands that she should have followed up to make sure that they received it, or perhaps
Jeez.
not herself.
Hold on, Miss Hunt. Miss Little, how old are you?
24.
Miss Little, you about to mess your whole life up. I'm just saying, because first of all, you can't stay away from alcohol and drugs, which means you have a problem. Second of all, you have a problem of willfulness, because you just gonna decide what you gonna do. You're not gonna listen to me. And I know I speak clearly because, like I said, I don't use a whole lot of legalese, and I tell you point blank period what I want you to do, as the young people say. But you brought your daddy in here and he cried on your behalf last time, and oh, you know, help her. But you're gonna have to help yourself, because you're gonna end up back before me. And if it's not me, it's going to be another state court judge. And let me explain to you, I'm the nicest one out there. I meet with all the judges twice a year. We have a conference. And when we start talking about sentencing for things like DUI and messing up, I say, okay, well, I expect somebody to mess up if they have an alcohol problem. So they're going to be back here. So I'm going to try and work with them. You know what my colleagues say? They say 6 months off the bat. You mess up on probation, that's 6 months in jail. They don't care about your daddy coming. They don't care about you crying. They don't care that you're 24. They don't care about any of that. You mess up, 6 months. And that's overall everywhere you go. I am the nicest one. Down the hall, they probably gonna give you 6 months if you mess up on probation. I'm the nicest one. And you have messed up with me and tried to play me 3 times. This whole, I didn't understand. I thought we were this. I thought, no, ma'am. No. I put it in writing. It's in writing. So if you didn't understand, it was in writing. I do that every time I talk. I put it in writing. So if you won't read to understand and you won't ask questions to understand, that means you just want to do what you want to do. And so whatever the sentence is, she gonna spend these next 6 days in jail. What did y'all agree to?
For the balance to be revoked, Your Honor.
Yep, that's it. But I'm not giving credit for time served since lockup. She gonna do 6 days.
Yes.
Don't feel bad for her, Miss Hahn. This is her 3rd time. If she felt bad for herself, she would get it right.
I understand, Your Honor.
You feel worse for her than she does. She gambled and lost. She played me. This is the 3rd time trying to play me. No, ma'am. No. Because what I don't need is you continuing to think that you can get away with something.
So, Your Honor, I guess,
She's gonna serve 6 days and her case will naturally expire.
it is, says, okay.
But what, Ms. Hahn?
I was just wondering if today counts as the first day or tomorrow. But, the other, Your Honor, in
I
that
missed
case, would you be willing to do 5 days? So Ms. Little let me know that today was the day that, so I don't know if Your Honor remembers that part of the concern for her family was that her mother, she cares for her mom.
Yeah, she's a caretaker for her mother. But if that were the case, then she wouldn't be out drinking and doing marijuana because it would be more important for her to care for her mother.
I understand, Your Honor. I guess just the last part is that she was supposed to today have an appointment to see if she qualifies to be her mother's kidney donor.
Not with alcohol and marijuana in her system. Her mama don't need to be high. Is that kidney gonna be any good?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Reschedule the appointment.
Okay, Your Honor.
They'll reschedule. But what the point I'm making to Miss Little is you can't help your mama if you can't help yourself. You keep trying to play me.
I'm not trying to play you, Your Honor.
Because I just don't understand how you feel like you didn't understand what I said. And it was in writing. Some people say if you want to hide knowledge from folk, put it in a book, put it in writing, because they sure as heck ain't gonna read.
I didn't get it in writing until the 30th.
Well,
Probation officer.
you could have asked for it. I'm unclear. Before I take this marijuana and this alcohol, let me see what the paper said. All right, so 6 days. I give her credit for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But Miss Little, let me tell you, ma'am. Every time you mess up in Clayton County, you're gonna come back to me. Let's not keep having these conversations, okay? Clear?
Sorry, Your Honor, I had accidentally pressed mute. You can say what you said.
Yes, ma'am, I haven't caught any other charges. This is the only time
This is the one you keep messing up on. You should have been finished with this. You should have been walking out that door done, everything complete. You've been here 3 times. You got to try to do that. And the reason I'm suggesting that you go to NA or AA, continue to do that, because as a caretaker, that's a hard job. That is a very hard job. If you're not dealing with it well, then it will be even harder. So you need to get ahead of that. You need to start talking to some people. Now, I don't know what your insurance situation is or what you can afford for as far as counseling, but you need to get ahead of what you're dealing with. And AA or NA, you got people you can talk to and people who can share their experiences and help you work through whatever it is you're going through.
yes, ma'am.
All right? Because I don't doubt you're going through stuff. You're just not dealing with it the right way. All right? You can go back with the sheriff.
Your Honor.
Yes.